Here are some example solves for 5x5 as requested by you. I'm consistently sub 1 on 5x5, and although I'm not the best, these should be useful for you. So, without further ado, here's the first scramble. With this solve, we have an interesting case where we have a 2x1, this center with a corner center attached to it, which means that we can probably use this to create something like that, and then attach it down here. After that, we can attach one edge center to it, and there's our 2x3. After which, we simply solve the last bar, and then we're done. Now here we have this shape, and this shape basically means that we can insert an edge center up here, like this. Then we insert this 2x1 up here. And then I'm going to solve this bar while still keeping this sort of orientation, so I can very quickly insert it like this. Although it would have been permissible if you did something like this, and wouldn't have taken that much more time because you can very quickly transition to your first three edges. Now here, the first thing I notice is these two that match, and this. So I'm just going to solve that. And I noticed these two matching, so that's what I want to look for next. Let's see if I can find the other edge, which I do. So I'm going to attach these two together. Notice these two that match, and look for the last white-red edge. And I don't really find it that quickly, but it's up here. So I'm just going to solve that last edge. So very okay look ahead. Wasn't that great. I think I could have done better, but whatever. Now I'm going to solve the red center because it kind of has a bar already created, and I can create a T and then finish the bar like that. Now I'm going to solve this final bar. Now here I can first insert this bar like that, and then we have a T, so we can insert this final edge center like so. And then finally, since we know the open spot is on the right, we can just solve this last bar without looking, and then we're done. Now we can insert this bar into here, and then solve this last bar case like so. Now if we have any of our final white edge pieces in the bottom, that's going to be bad. So I'm going to do a small U prime to move this up here, so that now we can simply just keep on going. Now I'm going to first insert this. Notice these three match, so that's probably good. That's probably going to be my first one. And then like that. And now this is not really a good first edge, but it is the one that I had my eye on, so I'm just going to go through with it. Going to notice these two and that. So I can transition right to that. I'm going to notice these two. And then I'm going to notice this and that. And then we're going to do a 5-move trigger. And then we're going to start last for edges. So we're first going to do these two. Note that this edge is going to get moved back here. So we want to replace this edge with this, so that when this edge comes back, you're going to have this paired thing. Now we can pair these two, and then we don't really have to worry about how we insert it. Anyway is fine, because we can just do a last two edges algorithm to fix the rest. And then finally, we have 3x3 stage. Alright, on the second scramble, there seems to be an interesting thing with yellow, where I can do that, and we have this Y shape, which is really good for building 2x3s. But I'm actually going to go for white, because there's actually a really easy white 2x3. So first I'm going to do a D, insert this edge center up here, and then this 2x1 up here. But actually disturbs this 2x1. So I'm actually going to, instead, while doing this D, I'm going to do a U2. Then RU. Now this is in the perfect position to be inserted. Then I'm going to do the last bar by first joining these together, then by joining these two together and inserting it into the bottom in one and then inserting into the bottom in one fell swoop. Now I'm going to insert this into the top, and then insert this into the top. And then we have a 2x3 on top. So we can do a rotation, since we're going to do one anyway for first 3 edges. And then insert these two together, that, and then I'm going to insert this like this. Which is not the best way to finger trick this, but it looks like we actually have a 1 move edge connected, and then that, and we actually notice these two and this. So a really nice first 3 edges. We're going to notice these two and this, so that's going to be my final edge. And then our first 3 edges are done. Easy. Now I'm going to notice these two and this pattern. So what I can do here is do a U, and then I'm going to join these two with this middle center. But while doing that, I'm actually going to join this with these two, like so. And then that. And then finally, I'm going to join these two and insert this into the bottom. Now I'm going to use this corner center and this edge center, join them together like so. And then I'm going to insert this into the bottom like so. Then finally, I'm going to join these 3 together from this angle like so. And we actually have a 2x3 already completed for blue. So I'm going to do this algorithm to solve the last bar. And since I don't want anything in the bottom layer, I'm going to do a U2 so that everything is up here. So to solve this final white edge, I'm first going to hedge this in, and then hedge this in again. I'm going to notice these 3 pieces, this yellow blue thing. So I'm going to do that, cancel into it very nicely. Notice these 3 and these 3, so that's going to be my next 2 edges. I can do that really quickly since I've planned everything out. I'm going to notice these 2, and that's like the only thing I noticed. I should probably planned ahead, but it worked out because I looked back here and saw this. And then I'm going to insert that like that. I'm going to do my 5 move trigger and then move up here. First thing you notice is this really nice slice with slice case. Then we're going to connect this with this by first doing that. And then I can insert this however I want because I'm going to solve the last 2 edges anyway with a last 2 edges algorithm. And then finally, I'm going to do 3x3 stage. Alright, on this scramble, we actually have a free bar on white. And we actually want to look at yellow because yellow might actually be better in this case. Because if we do that, then we have a really nice next bar. So it's really going to be a toss-up for me. I'm going to do yellow. So for yellow, I would first do a U prime, and then insert this with my left hand. Then I'm actually going to notice that these 2 don't move at all. So I'm going to predict that in inspection that I can do a D prime, rotate like this, then do a U wide. And in the solve, I would probably do another U wide prime to preserve this, and then an R prime. And then I'm in perfect position to do my next thing. So I'm going to notice these 3 pieces like that. And then I'm going to rotate like this. And then notice this and this. Then that and that. And then I'm going to insert it like so. Pretty simple. Next, I'm going to do these 2. And I'm going to look for that next one. But I'm going to notice these 2 as well. So pocket that. I'm going to solve that. Then I'm going to notice these 2 together. So I'm going to look for my final white orange edge, which is here, and my final white green edge, which is here. So I'm going to solve that as well. And then we have our first 3 edges. Now the first thing I notice is this entire thing, and it actually looks like it's probably going to be better if we just do an M2 and then solve this like a T case, then bring this back down and then solve this into the bottom without even looking. Adjust this so that we have a nice case for this next part. So I can actually do that to align it, insert this in the same motion, and then move up, do that, align this like that, and then finally solve this final center. And now while I'm bringing this back down, I'm going to do a U2 to solve that 2x1. But this is kind of a bad case, so maybe I shouldn't have done that. So what I would do in this case is I would solve this and this together by doing this. And then solve this last bar case. and then rotate. Here we see this and this, so I'm going to do that. Then solve these two together. I notice this as well, and I notice these two, so I'm probably going to be looking for that last edge, which is over here. Then here I'm going to notice these two, so I'm going to be looking for that last edge, which is here. And then here I'm going to notice these two, so I'm going to insert that into the back, which is really nice. And I'm going to like kind of rotate maybe a bit to see the last one, which is back here. And then finally, I'm going to do a flipping algorithm on this one so it's preserved during last 4 edges. And that gamble actually worked because that edge actually solved itself. So now I'm just going to take out this back edge. No need for the 5 move trigger since one of these edges is already solved. So this is going to be a bit interesting. Honestly, if I got this in the middle of a solve, I would probably like, I don't know, short out. I think the best way to solve this is going to be to first insert this down here, flip it to solve it, and then insert this, and then do the regular slice, flip, slice out to solve that. And then I'm going to do the rest of these solve. And actually a really nice 33 stage for that. If you want to purchase this cube, this is the Ausschwang V7 Triple Track Edition. You can purchase it from SpeedCube Shop using code NOTME to get 5% off of your order. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.